Jared pulling FroKnowsPhoto.com, and this is the Raw Edit of the Week 57, mine and Adam's Raw Edits of the Week, and it's brought to you by allenscamera.com. So, I did ask people to put up ScreenFlows of this, and there were over 20 of them so far, so that means I will be giving away a free copy of ScreenFlow to somebody who entered to basically win one. So I will be doing that in a future video, but in this video, it's time for me to edit this file, and then we're going to go to Adam's edit, and then we will put them together. So here is my plan for this photo. I want to make it pop in color. I want the colors to come out. I probably may clean up a little bit of the face right in here. Excuse me as my text message rings. I probably want to clean this up, soften it up a little bit. If I did go into Photoshop, it would be something that I would, do in Photoshop, but I'm not going to go in there for the time purposes for making this video. But I plan on doing a color, and I plan on doing a black and white. So let's see where we end up with this. First things first, I just want to pump up my exposure slightly and then boomify my contrast just to see what's going to go on here. That's a lot of contrast, but I don't mind. You know that. Pull back on the clarity, go forward on the clarity. I just want to see what's going to happen here to give myself a visual representation of what I want. There, I'm taking out some of the green, adding some of the magenta. Let's see what happens when we add some yellow. Because what is great about this file is you can almost do anything with it. You can go so many different directions to play with it that it's just a cool file like that. So I'm going to warm it up a little bit. I'm going to go right about here. What a black level is going to do. I don't want to go too far into the black levels, but what does fill light bring us? No, I don't like the fill light because it brings out the grain inside of the that thing. The headscarf, the whatever she's wrapping around her head. So that's with none. That's with, what do I got on that? 10. I'm liking that. I like the feel of that. Making her face go boom. Probably don't want any vibrance and saturation. No, I'm liking this so far. And there's so many good edits this week in there. It's great to see. Warm it up a little bit. And I'm pulling back on that. Let's see, what kind of stuff could we do here to soften this up? Just taking out some of these quick blemishes. It's a really, really nice file here. Let's see what else we could do with the color. I don't want to go too far back on the color. I do like the warmth and feel of it. See what happens when you go really uber-duper high with clarity? Just to get a visual. A lot of people, when they first start off, go way too far on sharpening, go way too far on clarity. That's one thing you want to pull back on. I don't want to pull back too far because I don't want to lose all the detail, but I'm going to go about there. Let's see what else we can do with the exposure. I don't want to go too far with it. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with this right now. I don't think I want to add the post-crop vignette. I've got my general sharpening. You can see over here what that is, 45-1, 39-70. It's just something that I just throw in there. I don't know if that's right. I don't know if that's wrong. It's just something that I've done for a while now. So I like this. I do like what's going on in this file. And this is the color. Just little tweaks here and there to see if I like that or if I like that more. Maybe I'll do 3 edits just to have an off-the-wall one. So I'm going to go with this. Let's see if a crop would play, because it's one thing I don't normally reach for, but let's see what we got. That verse. I don't know. I like the original. I'm going to leave it there because of this extra room. So that's 1. We're going to leave that with 1. Let's do a black and white. Boom, black and white. Going up with my contrast. No. Let's start fresh with black and white. Boom, fresh. Let's go with some strong tone curves. Go up with my exposure. Don't want to fill in with the blacks first. I want to fill in with contrast. Too much exposure. Don't want to lose too much of that today. Let's see what Mr. Phil does. I got to get the feel back for this. I know it's just a very simple. Just got to get the feel. It would be cool to just, I gotta, you know, go extreme contrast, go extreme black and white here. No, I definitely don't like that, but that could be a little better. I want to lose almost all tone for some reason. It's just what I'm feeling in this file. And to me, the clarity's working better. But see, when you mess with the curves too much, it takes way too much out of the image. Let's just play with that a little bit. It's that ring light thing is really in the eye. It's crazy. It's interesting. It's an interesting edit right there. We're going to leave that with 2. Let's go back to 1. That's cool. I like that. I mean, it's just a beautiful shot. And this is the crazy off the wall. Let's just try something different. Whoop. Whoop. Oh, we got the Tron thing going here. Who likes Tron? I do. Whoa. Whoa. I'm going for more. I'm going to leave this. Crazy. I just want to see what we get. This is fun. This is fun to just see what else can show up. Why don't I'll just do that. That's so far off the wall, it's not even funny. Who knew? Now, we'll leave it at that. So here we go. We've got 1. I'll keep playing on my own. You got 2. You've got 3. Adam, you're up. Your turn. Let's see what you got.
Adam Lerner, and welcome to this week's Raw Edit. This week we have a portrait done with some what appears to be studio lighting, and I would guess ring flash. I'm looking at her eye here, and I'm seeing some kind of a ring light that's the catch light in her eye. Very cool. We've got a beautiful girl, kind of in some kind of a wrap of a scarf or something like that. It's not a photo critique, but this is a raw edit. So let's get right to it. What I'm going to probably want to do here is I'm going to want to, give this a little bit more impact, a little more oomph, a little more definition, kind of sculpt it out a little bit with more contrast, more clarity, and more sharpness, and maybe adjust the white balance as well. I'm probably also going to want to look at a black and white version of this. And, the reason why I'm saying this is that I think it's important to have an intent when you're going to do an edit rather than just going about it just to see what happens. There's something okay about just kind of messing around with things, but it's a good idea to kind of have an idea of what you're trying to do. And, oftentimes that leads to other things. So we're just going to start off right here, and I'm just going to check the exposure. Just going to knock it up just a little bit over there. Just going to add some blacks, something like that. And I'm masking things off. And when I do that, when I hold down the Option, the Alt key, and I adjust the blacks to the exposure, I'm looking like for the under or overexposed areas. I'm going to add a little bit of fill, okay? And I'm going to add some contrast. Yeah, I really like where this is headed right now. Definitely has more of that kind of beauty shot look to it. I'm going to add some clarity here. And you know what? The thing about the clarity is that it really, without a lot of serious retouching, it doesn't really quite do what I want it to. And if I make it too soft, I'm not liking that either. So I'm going to try something out a little bit different here. I'm going to add some clarity. I'm going to leave that right about there. I'm also going to add some highlights. I want to kind of just blow out her skin tones a little bit here. Something around there. And let's see, let's add a little bit of warmth to this. Not so much. Something right around there. And then I'm going to drop the saturation down just a tad. Something like right around there. Now, I'm going to go in and I'm thinking her eyes are kind of a green color. So I want to just add some greens. I'm going to add some luminance. Something like that. And saturation. I want to add some saturation there too. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Something like that. Very cool. And while I'm in there, you know what? Let's just go for some iris enhance. So I'm going to hit the K tool and I'm going to grab the iris enhance and I'm going to hit the overlay, the O key. I'm just going to paint some iris enhance in her eye right here. Just something like that. Okay, hit the O key again. And that's a little bit too much. So I'm going to dial down the exposure quite a bit, just so that it just gives a very light bit. And you know, look, this is really just an experiment here. So I'm going to zip out of this and wow, look at that. Look at the difference before and after. Her eye looks kind of like a cyborg eye. So I'm going to go back into my greens here. I'm going to dial these down a little bit because it's a little bit too much. And there, we're going to leave that at about something like that. Now, I also want to do some sharpening, so we'll just select her eye with the sharpening selector tool, and I'll just grab the amount, and then I'm going to mask it off to sharpen the edge detail rather than textures and such. We'll go to about there. Very cool. Now, this obviously very young, pretty girl is wearing a lot of makeup. And you know, you can see a lot of the foundation on here and stuff like that. This kind of stuff, you know, I like to retouch out of here. In this situation with Lightroom, there's only so much you can do because Lightroom, you know, doesn't really have a lot of layering, masking, and all that kind of stuff. So what I am going to do is I am going to overlay what's called softened skin, and I'm going to see how that looks over her skin over here. So we're going to go there, and I'm going to just bring the clarity up to about, I don't know, 50%, okay? And we're going to just go in there, and we are going to, with the overlay tool, or the overlay selected, we're just going to paint that over her skin. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I don't want to overlay onto things like hair, which should have definition, or the clothing, you know, this scarf. I just want to do this over her skin. And this is a rough edit, you know. I mean, if I really was going to deliver this to a client, I would either, you know, spend a lot of time retouching this or perhaps even hire a retoucher to have this properly done. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just do this quickly by hand. Yep, we're just going to keep painting that in there and keep going like that. I might zoom in a little bit for other bits along the way, but for the time being, I'm just going to kind of do this. Now you can see I'm avoiding areas like her eye, like her eyelashes, her eyebrows, her lips. Those are areas where I don't want it to have any kind of a clarity or a softening. I want those to maintain their level of definition. That's really cool. We are starting to get somewhere. All right, now I'm going to just zoom in, and I'm going to just kind of keep up with what I'm doing here, but I'm just going to do it on a more refined level. Here we go. We're getting there. Let me grab her eye. Same thing. Whoop. I'm going to just reduce the size of my tool there, and we're going to just keep going, something like that. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's go down here. Check out this area over here. Something like that. Okay, now I'm going to close the tool and just see how that looks. Now, it's not quite enough for me. Let's go back into this. I'm going to select the pin, and I'm going to turn off the overlay because I know where I've done it, and I'm going to reduce the clarity. I'm going to keep going down to a level. I'm going to keep it all the way down there. There we go. And I think that that's probably going to work for me for the time being, for the purpose of this. Okay, so there. Let me close out of that, I'm going to use the K tool. Very cool. So let's just do a quick before and after. So this is the after, but look at the before. Look at the after. You know, it's a pretty dramatic difference here. You know, I'm pretty happy with where that's headed. I think what I might do is I might even just bump the clarity just down a tad, or even just bring it down more towards center. Yep, something like that. I really like what's going on over there. That definitely looks very cool to me. I like what's happening with all of that right there, and you know, I think that quite possibly could be my color edit. So I'm going to save that as my color edit. So I'm going to create a new snapshot. I'm just going to call it 1, and that's going to be my color edit. Now, let's just see what this looks like black and white, just for the sake of it. Hit the V key, and not bad. Let's just make a few minor adjustments here. I'm going to add some more contrast. Yeah, very cool. Something like that. And add a little more fill. Very cool. And I think, you know, we could bring up the blacks just a little bit. Somewhere around there. We're just going to give it a little more drama. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Not really going to go too crazy with it. You know, it could be nice to do some split toning here. But I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's just see the before and the after. You know, let's just save this as snapshot 2. 2. There we go. All right, so we've got our color edit. We've got our black and white edit. And let's go off and see what Jared's got.
All right, and we're back. All right, Adam, we're here. And
That's right.
And we're not going anywhere. Hey, hey.
Hey, hey.
All right, so week 57, as you guys know, you saw my edit, you saw Adam's edit. This is the first time Adam and I are seeing each other's edits.
Wow.
First thoughts.
Again, you know, you're a little contrasty and overblown, dude. Like, the highlights are so blown out.
That's what I was going for.
All right.
That's what I said. I never seem to have the ability to do what you do with the smoothing of the faces.
Well, I actually put some time into smoothing because, again, you know, what I've seen on this model and oftentimes is just too much foundation makeup. And I didn't go crazy retouching it because obviously, you know, the video could only be so long, but I really wanted to retouch it to kind of just smooth things out because she's young, she's beautiful, and she probably does have very nice smooth skin.
Did you go into Photoshop, being that I haven't seen your video yet?
I did not. I mean, that's something that I probably should do at some point. I was really kind of utilizing Lightroom for this. But I just wanted it to look really nice and smooth and kind of dreamy.
How'd you go ahead and make it smooth and dreamy? I got to go watch it, but how'd you do it?
I used the overlay mask with the smoothing skin tool. And I just overlaid that on, you know, her face area, I guess. But I didn't smooth out her eye or her eyebrow or her lips, of course. Those we wanted to keep nice and sharp.
That's definitely interesting. I'm going to go back and watch that because I want to see that. Because you do need, like when I'm working with musicians, I don't want to smooth their face because they are who they are. And I like keeping that realistic as possible. Now, I like the smooth feel that you're getting. I mean, everybody touches up these files. And I guess that's kind of why I go overblown sometimes is because I don't go in and I don't smooth those things out.
Well, I just know that if this were something that was potentially being used as a beauty shot, I would imagine that a retoucher would probably go in there and smooth it out, balance it out.
Absolutely.
You know, and rather than just trying to, I mean, I think that there's some validity, you know, to blowing out the highlights, you know, because that also has kind of a beauty look to it. But I just feel like maybe you went a little bit too far because the shadow line on her face is really pronounced. Mm-hmm. Almost, yeah, but whatever. It's still cool. I also gave her eye a little bit more of a richer color.
Sure, yeah, I saw that with the one on the greener eye and all of that. My third edit in the middle is just a. Hey,
I'm not looking at that.
It was a hey, I just did 2 edits. Why don't we just play around? Because I tell everybody to try to do the extreme thing from time to time.
This is my hand over the screen. I'm just trying not to see it.
Oh, well, hey, it was just that ancillary third edit, something just
What was your objective with it? I'm just curious.
my objective, like I laid out in the first part of the video what I was going to do for the color and the black and white, and then I decided to just see what kind of craziness can happen in the third edit. It was really nothing planned. It was just one of those, hey, let's see what interesting things can be done. And
it kind of looks like an X-ray or night vision shot. There's something really kind of compelling about it. I mean, it's such an incredible departure from the shot, and it obviously doesn't do this girl any justice, but it does kind of have like a kind of a cool vibe. Like those on those spy shows where like they have the infrared sensor where it's like the red part goes to the heat, the face.
Yep.
It kind of has that look to it. I think it's there's something kind of interesting about it.
Well, and it's alluring. Who knows what it would be used for, but I just did it.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And guys, don't forget, please submit your raw files. Use the submit the raw file button, or you can submit your files on FroKnowsPhoto.com, or you can email them to FroKnowsPhoto@gmail.com. The more we get, the more we have to choose from, the longer we can keep bringing these to people and keep editing different files. This was a great file to edit. Lots of great edits from people, and we talked about the ScreenFlow earlier about the contest. But no, it was pretty cool. I'm going to go back and watch your smoothing effects here. I want to take a look at that and see how that works.
Sure. I mean, the thing is that, for what it's worth, Lightroom does have a lot of really nice and robust tools in it. So there's a lot of things that you can do to kind of, that emulate, more advanced Photoshop stuff.
Yeah, I need to look into that too, because that's, where I go. I edit.
Yeah, you know me. I like kind of like smoothing. I like silvery tones. I like more balance, and you like to boomify, and that's totally cool.
I'd like a mix of both. For me, like I need to progress my editing to a place where, it's my editing for this. It's interesting because if I was to do portraits like this, I think this may be something that I would find somebody who does editing like this all the time and say, hey, as a retoucher, this is something that, I can shoot these, I can capture these. This is what I'm going for with the edit. Now let's see where you can take it. And I think that's not a bad thing. I think that's a good thing to do. Just as photographers and lighting people do their job well, retouchers and editors do their job very well as well.
Absolutely, and there are so many different components creatively to being a photographer. And a lot of the editing and retouching is an art in itself. And, for the vast majority of photographers that are doing high-end fashion and beauty stuff, that stuff's being retouched. And it's not because, they're not good at it. It's just that there's people that are amazing at it.
Right. They shoot right to the computer. They have a guy sitting behind the computer who already starts the process.
Yeah.
The Digitech.
Right. But I actually thought that this was cool. I liked the lighting of it. I thought that this was a really, really fun file to edit.
Yep. All right,
Very cool. All right, man.
This, we're recording this on the 30th. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year. We'll see you next year,
and Happy
I guess.
New Year to everybody with their raw edits of the week. And I'll be back with a year wrap up and not a retro. I wish we could do a retrospective. Go back and pull out posts and all of that. But that's that would be a lot of. I got to do it at some point.
Sure.
Maybe for like the 2-year anniversary, we'll have a retrospective going back for 2 years.
Best of.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, nice. All right, guys.
Nice.
That is the Raw Edit of the Week, number 57. Thank you to Alan's Camera for being a sponsor. Adam, have a good New Year.
Yep. Happy, healthy New Year to you too, and
there
all the Fro Nation.
Yeah, have the same thing. And nice job this year. And bigger, better, expanding things next year. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.